Well, hello, Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate. We are here in Judge Middleton's court. You know, why we leave when it's so good? Plus, Judge Middleton's the OG, right? He would help bring us to Michigan in the first place, and we're ever so grateful to Michigan courthouse rooms because not all of the judges do this. So we're grateful for them for broadcasting through Zoom so that we as the general public can learn more. And as we know, it is a part of our rights to be able to go to the courthouse and see the case play out. So having it on Zoom is nothing more than just fulfilling our rights to be able to have it a public hearing. So nonetheless, very grateful to him and all those who are in Michigan. Judge Simpson, Judge Simmons, Judge Manning, Judge Catherine Selah, and of course Judge Middleton. Love to Judge Bryant and all whomever I cannot remember at this time. So right now we're going to get it back into Judge Middleton's court. If you are so inclined, make sure that you go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to the video. I'm going to like myself because I want to make sure that we take care of all of our light work here. And then also Judge Middleton has a request going on for St. Joseph's County's survey. So take down the website or scan the QR code and make sure to do that survey, okay? Right here is the QR code and there's the website. All right, Judge Middleton, we're right here. We're ready for court. No one's here. Where are our litigants at? We need the litigants. Oh, he has his hair pulled back on ponytail. Good morning.
Today is September 15th, 2023.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank Beautiful day. Great to be alive.
Yes, it is.
We have a pretty busy landlord tenant docket this morning with a couple of civil matters in the middle. I had mentioned that we've got the new guidelines from the Supreme Court, which will be taking effect November 6th, and we're all working on getting up to speed on that. Today is the last day of posting of the public satisfaction survey. If anybody has any comments.
It's the last day, so you got to do it now.
Feel free.
Thanks, Judge. Much love to you and yours. We definitely will make sure we get that done.
It's going to be a sunny and 75-degree day today. Hope our visitors from the other day have made it all the way to Mackinac Island.
Mackinac, okay.
Be a beautiful weekend to be there.
And as always, the judge is so informed about his township. He's getting us all the wonderful teas. He's like our real estate agent in the area. He says, hey, go to Mackinac Mountain. This is the time to go.
All right. I've got a couple people in the waiting room. Thank you for saying hello. From New Brunswick to Virginia to California and Ohio and Russia. Good morning, sir. That's close to Alabama, I think. Anyway, thank you all for saying hello. Let's get going.
Okay, what's up today for our landlord tenant docket, Judge? What we're doing today?
We've set each of these cases for a distinct time. They're about 10 minutes apart. It's helpful when people show up early because I can do the advice of rights just once and cover a couple of people at the same time. But let's see what we got. We got Mr. Reed, got Whispering Pines, Rebecca.
He was the zoning guy. Mr. Reed's title.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
You look good today. You got dressed up for court.
That's right. Good for you.
Thank you. We've got a lot of your cases today. I've got one tenant in. Good morning, Rebecca. And we've given the whole first block to you, and I think it'll work out for our continued cases for next Friday.
Okay.
You've already got one or two scheduled on there. In fact, let me open that. I kind of got sidetracked a little bit this morning.
Rebecca has her hairs and curls, looking all nice.
That will be next Friday, 5/22. All right. Our first person in is 1+GN 2000. So let's see who that is. It may be John Eastman.
And Judge has his hair pulled back in the ponytail, so we're doing great. Yeah, there goes John. Pastor, we're at 1.5. Okay.
They're relaxing for court.
Right.
We're gonna see what happens. But as you know, we've talked about some of the etiquette of court. Laying down in the bed is not good etiquette for court, and Judge Middleton has taken note of that. But as I said, he's so even keel. He's not. I don't know if John realizes he's getting chastised for being in the bed. Relax.
Maybe I should do that.
Maybe that's why you got the background up the way you do.
Get a Chase Lounge. Yeah, this is the last day of it. If you wish to make any comment regarding your satisfaction, feel free. Good morning, sir. Are you John Eastman?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for being here on a timely manner. Let me give you a proper name.
Because judge usually doesn't have a
Someone is with you. Who's with you there?
ground. So
This is my wife next to me.
All right, very good. The file number here is 23996. It's entitled Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park versus John Eastman and any other occupants at lot number 6. This is a bit of a hybrid. This is a mobile home, and I think we're dealing with lot rent rather than the purchase, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Mr. Timothy Reed is here on behalf of the park, and their manager, Ms. Lentz, is here. You are a defendant in a landlord-tenant non-payment of rent case. They want you to pay the rent or move. And as a defendant in such a case, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. And there's usually a representative from legal aid here. She either hasn't logged in yet or she's maybe caught up in other business. They may be here. But at any rate, you have the right to counsel. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, which this is, and you are eligible for any assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Services or other source, you do not need a judgment to receive assistance. Yes. All right. Thank you. You do not need a judgment to receive assistance. Thank you. The summons and complaint should be sufficient, although there's been some disagreement about that, but that's what we're advised to advise, and I think we still are continue to do that after November 6th. If the plaintiff is agreeable that Assistant Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to resolution by mediation, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above and have the following additional rights. This judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing, but if the judge does not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. I show rent is $445 per month. Mr. Reed or Ms. Lentz, what's the current status?
I updated total balance is $4,608 is what I show. There's so lot rent is $445, trash with extra trash is $39, and there's a $10 pet fee each month as well.
So that's 4,608 through September.
Yes.
All right, so we've got a $55 filing fee, a $51.90.
5180, I believe.
It's getting worse. Plus $75 statutory attorney fee equals 180. I feel blessed that I've been able to go this long without glasses to read or drive, but my number's about up.
All right.
Dr. Goff, just a minute. The total they claim you owe, Mr. Eastman, is $4,789.80 through September. Now that's lot rent only. This is a lease option to buy. Or do you own the trailer?
I own the trailer.
All right, so
I thought thought he just said it included the trash and the dog fee.
there's not that. It's just a lot rent.
Yes.
Just a lot rent. Okay.
What's your position?
All right. On your numbers, I have the numbers of 3,421, but that's probably with September included now with your totals.
Yes.
Okay. What's been happening is my job, I work in the RV business. And since around the beginning of the year, we've been laid off weeks at a time. Unable to draw unemployment because we do have callback dates in Indiana. And with that, I'm not eligible for the unemployment. So I was gone for a couple weeks without pay. And since July, we've gone back to work. I've had put some down towards the rent since then. And
So just let me stop you for just a sec. Rebecca, when was the last payment made?
They made a payment on September 5th of $400.
All right, well, that's a good sign. Mr. Eastman,
Yes.
we don't make any final decision today. The law requires that I continue this matter for at least 7 days. And then we'll explain a little further. Next Friday, I've got a lot of cases with Mr. Reed. How about if we start to fill up the 10 o'clock block, DJ?
That's
Are you
fine.
available at 10:10?
I'm available all morning, Judge.
That's fair day, you know.
That's okay. The auction's the day before, so
Yeah,
I've
so we
already blocked.
Can't get anybody in here on Thursday afternoon.
I
We'll
blocked
continue
the
this.
entire morning next week for landlord tenant hearings after Monday's hearing. So.
All right, very good. We'll set this for 10:10. Now, let me explain a little more what's going on here. This is a mobile home. If they get what they ask for, you either pay the rent or you move. You would have 10 days to move and 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. So this is pretty dramatic stuff. You could end up having to move out of your trailer and move it or sell it within 90 days.
Try
Now,
not to have that happen.
all right, I understand. They can agree to work with you to work out some sort of plan to get caught up on this. But we have a number of cases from this park today, maybe 8, where
Yeah.
people are behind on their lot rent. So Meg Bauer from Legal Aid has just checked in. This doesn't appear to be a matter of a legal defense. It's just a matter of not having the money to pay the rent. Which shop do you work at?
Lippert Plant 28, we build chassis for the RVs. And once the RVs get hit, we got hit also.
Well, I'm not sure what the GM strike is going to do to everybody. It'll have to do with engines and motors but you're right. I see a lot of RV people. When it's going great, they're doing great. When it's not, they're not. And that affects things like the ability to pay your rent. So I would suggest that you stay in contact with Rebecca. And but we're going to address this again next Friday morning at 10:10. And at that time, we'll calculate how much rent is due, garbage fees, pet fees. And I will tell you that you owe that amount of money. And you would have 10 days to move and 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. Now, to expand on this a little further, they don't have to evict you in 10 days. They can by the letter of the law, but they could agree to give you 56 additional days to get caught up on the rent. But that's completely within their discretion. So I say this every week. It's easier to keep a good tenant in there than to move one out and move another one in, particularly we're talking about uprooting a mobile home and moving it out of there. There isn't anywhere to move it to. So I understand your circumstance, but it's a matter of the fact that their rent needs to get paid. So we'll address this further next Friday morning at 10:10. Are you missing work right now?
Actually, yes, I got excused for today because of this. Next
Well,
week,
you don't
not
need to
sure.
hold, you can log in
No,
from
I'm
your
going back to
shop.
work.
All right, okay. Go
Yeah,
back to
I'm
work.
going. Yeah. My wife, she had surgery around the April, and now she's able to go back to work. And we've discussed it. The 13th is the second week of October. We can have this probably all paid up with October.
John, I would suggest maybe reach out to Rebecca after today's hearing, maybe when you get out of work, or
Okay.
give her a call. As the court rightly pointed out, these are not termination of tenancies. These are just strictly.
No, I know.
We're not looking to, kick
I know.
anybody
I
out.
just want to make it clear that we're able. Yeah, I
Right.
just want to make clear we're able to, because my wife did have surgery on her shoulder, so it's put us there too, medical expenses. And so I just, I want to make everybody know that we're willing to pay it in October and be full paid.
All right, well, that could make this work, but people are struggling. That's certainly clear. You're trying to do the best you can. Well, all right, we'll address this further. 9:22 at 10:10, and you're good to go.
All right, sir.
Good morning, Meg.
Right.
I'm starting to think my computer was going to join the UAW this morning.
I was very disappointed to see that.
Okay, so let's just give a little bit to the case at hand. So I guess Attorney Reed is an attorney. I thought he was, no, I guess that was Klein. Okay, so Klein is the guy that does the zoning inspection, and Reed, TJ Reed, is the attorney for various ones. I guess he was the attorney for the city at the last case we saw. This one here, he sounds like he's representing the owners of RV lot. And I am so grateful that he and Rebecca are looking to help John out, give them extension of time. Sounds like it's been almost 9 months, 10 months. I'm, doing the math. I'm not sure, but it's been an extensive period of time that they've been in this position, and yet they are still working with them, understanding they are a valuable tenant. These tenants are working really hard to get something into the landlord. So I'm grateful that they're able to. Sometimes as a landlord, you want to work with those tenants, but you're not able to wait any longer. So it's not just have a heart, it's also, can you afford to hold out? So it looks like they will be able to do that. I thought it was so sweet that he's like, listen, we're going to have this paid off in October. We're back to work. We're the season is over. The issue with me is up, and now she herself will be able to go back to work because of her body and her health. So she's now able to get back into this flow of things. And Mr. Reed is like, look, we're not trying to put you out. We just, want to get a status on what's going on and make sure that you guys are making the payments. We get this taken care of. Meg is funny. So as we know, Meg is our legal aid for Judge Middleton's court under most days. I don't think I've seen a different legal aid for him. If it's not her, I don't think I've seen one. I think that's the remedy. Either she's there or she's not. So the UAW is, of course, the United Auto Workers, I think. United Auto Workers Union or Union of Auto Workers, something like that. So that's the union that's going on strike. And I love my American cars, and GM is one of my favorite ones. So they're going on strike. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to afford them. And that's the overall issue, is that we have a hard time buying American cars because the pricing gets up there so much that you're forced into a foreign car. Whereas me, myself, I kind of prefer certain American cars over a lot of foreign cars. I do have a preference for American cars. So hopefully it won't kill me in the end, but I do wish those workers well in their fight for their higher wages. I believe is what the union is, the strike is about. All right.
But we'll hope, I'm not sure how it's going to affect our folks. Our next matter is Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park versus Shaughnessy Johnson. We do have personal service. Although frankly, TJ, I had some problem with some of Mr. Meddy's services, and we'll address those as we get to them. But let's
Process server alert.
call this case. It's file 23997 LT, Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park.
You will notice though, and I don't know what St. Joseph's County entails in terms of rural areas versus high traffic areas and so forth. I'm not sure how much of that county is encompassed in for Michigan. But what I have noticed with some of the process servers, whether it's him or not, the one that's of question right now, I don't know. They'll have their substitution of servers pretty soon, like on the front of the case. And the judge will be like, wait, we have a substitution of service. Why do we have a substitution of service? And the representation is, oh, they're refusing to accept servers. They won't open the door. You hear that they're there. They're not opening the door. So we have to substitute service. Don't avoid service. You're not helping yourself, because once it gets attested to by the process server that you're avoiding service or you're trying to evade the circumstance, the judge just moves on and gives a default judgment. So you're not even helping yourself.
Versus Johnson.
All right.
Once again, Timothy Reed is here. The last case, I started the record a little bit late, was Mr. and Mrs. John Eastman, and I think the record was complete. I did advise him of his rights.
Yes. I don't know if you did the case.
This is also a non-payment of rent for lot only. What's the status here, Mr. Reed?
And this is lot 86. The total amount balance due is $4,200, Your Honor.
Everybody is
And I
the
think
same.
our costs are going to be exactly the same, 180, 180, which is
That's the court costs.
4,381.80. He's not here, or she. Is the tenant still there, Miss Lentz?
Yes, he is.
It's a he?
Yes.
I thought it was a she too. What kind of name is that? What's the name?
Exactly the same.
Sorry.
This is also a non-payment of rent for lot only. What's the status? Once again, Timothy Reed is here. 23997 LT, Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park versus Johnson. Once again, Timothy Reed is here. The last case, I started the record a little.
Said a name.
Or she.
Like a
Is
Lachey
the tenant
name.
still there, Miss Lentz?
Yes, he is.
It's a he?
Yes.
It's a he. I don't know the name though.
They are subject to default. The problem is they'll probably come rolling in here in the next couple of minutes, so let's hold off on that one. But you would ask for a default?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll need the mobile home judgment.
Yep, I can do that. I just,
Now, the default why he's holding off is to give them the time, which usually is the notice time. As you heard him earlier, he says, I've been giving a 10-minute window for each one of these matters. And sometime before the appeals court had mandated that I've only seen his court do this, but I respect the fact that he knows what he's doing. I think he's one of the managing judges. So I think I respect the fact that he knows exactly what he's talking about. He's the only one that I've seen do it where they have had an appeals court state that you have to give a litigant an exact time, not a block time. A block time would be like, okay, you're gonna come at 8:30, and then you have everyone come at 8:30 in the morning, but you don't hear that tenant until 11:30, 12, almost 12 o'clock, because at 12 o'clock they go on recess. And the problem becomes if you're paying an attorney on your case, they're sitting around for 3 hours or whatever, and you're paying them for it. You're paying them 3 hours to sit there and wait before they get up there, and then you gotta pay for their cost for transportation, travel. And so it makes for a reasonable argument to say it's better to give them exact time. But then you have moments like this where the case before it goes by so quickly and so swell, you have dead air and everybody's trying to figure out what's due and, clean up paperwork and kind of, pick their nose or whatever else while they're waiting for the next one to come in. And if they don't show up, then you kind of feel like you almost wasted your time because you could did the default judgment early, but you can't because you have to wait until the time that you notice the case for, because by law, that's the time you told the litigant that they should be there and they should be prepared by it. Even though I don't understand how anybody believes 8:30 means 8:35. 8:30 means be in the room by 8:15. So when they call your case at 8:30, you're there. FYI.
They'd have 10 days to move and 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. 10 days from today is September 25th.
And he's already in calculation mode.
Unfortunately, they're not here.
And he says, that's okay. I'm getting my order together.
Let's see if anybody's on the hall. That happens sometimes too. Good morning. Do I have any customers out in the hall for landlord tenant? All right, thanks. Bye. Well, the good news is we're going to be here for a little bit, and if they do show up, we'll address it at that time. All right, now we've got to wait till 8:50. We have all this dead time that comes in every week where we wait between cases.
That's
I
like,
keep threatening to put them 5 minutes. We did 15 minutes apart. We moved to 10. While we're waiting, let's talk about the next case.
All right, who we got here?
I'm not making it up.
This is
Paying attention,
Jeremiah
Judge.
Jarvis and Ashley Jarvis. We've got a couple of Jarvises. This is lot number 121.
Yep.
Ready? TJ, you ready? Timothy
That's the
Reed,
one.
your file. They're twiddling their thumbs. I'm twiddling my
All right.
thumbs. Doing good.
What's the current arrearage?
121 is $3,515.66.
All right, we're going down.
181.80 in cost.
Yes.
180. 180.
They did make a $500
Oh,
payment.
yes, we just got that. I got the notice yesterday that they paid 500, so take 500 off of that.
So 3,015.66.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. Good job. Or was it
Here's
Rachel?
Ashley Ware.
Her name is
Meg, I'm gonna warn you in advance. If you come to the St. Joe County Fair, you can't get over the covered bridge. So you have to either row across or go a different way.
I'll inflate the. on my card.
According to the signs coming into town, you're not gonna have cell phone service either, so.
No, I see that. Yeah, because people are trying to buy tickets. I don't know why they haven't fixed that problem, but
Money.
I guess total is 3,197.46.
Keep it real, Reed. He said,
And
money.
in this one, the service, he personally served Jeremiah Jarvis. And then he lists personally, but he served Ashley by substitution by serving Jeremiah. But here is Ashley Ware right now. So that's this,
Yeah, I think that's the same person.
it is. So, all right, I'm going to work on my radio announcer voice again here. And
Okay. So he just articulated what some of his issues were relative to the proofs of service by the process server. There was a substitution of service. Maybe these individuals are probably co-tenants. They may be married, don't know. But when they're listed on the lease as this person and this person is in a lease agreement, the service is individualized. And so what he ended up doing is giving one person a personal service and then turned around and said, oh yeah, give this to the tenant for the other person when they come back home or whatever have you. That's where the judge was taking issue with, because he was substituting the service for the second person versus personally serving them. But she's here. So she's here. There may not be an issue of service for her because she's acknowledged, there's a hearing. So let's see.
Yep, they're there.
good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, what a
Are you
cute
Ashley Ware and
couple.
Jeremiah Jarvis?
Yes.
So
Yes.
cute.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the courthouse in Centerville. Thank you for logging in on a timely manner.
Of course.
Also, the agreement is, and if they don't show up, we can then just
They
accept our
are
next
so
matter.
cute. Wait
He's
till,
also settled, I believe. So Meg, we're gonna have a gap here. Home Time Trust, our 9:30 case is settled. We don't have another case until 9:50. Mr. Bradshaw's office, a couple of the 9:10 case and the 9:40 case were dismissed.
wait, what happened?
So
Did I miss something else? Something happened. Wrong.
what's the settlement, Mr. Dupka?
Well, Your Honor, we're going to be submitting a condition.
Yeah,
This is a circumstance where they want you to
I don't know how we got
maybe
this
able to
fast.
assist. So
We
you have
got
to-
too
this-
far ahead.
Yeah, I think that's the same person.
it is. So
Here we go.
good morning.
This is
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you Ashley Ware and Jeremiah Jarvis?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the courthouse in Centerville. Thank you for logging in on a timely manner.
Of course.
Also with us is Mr. Timothy Reed, who's representing your mobile home park, your manager Rebecca, and Meg Bauer is here as a representative from Legal Aid. We've been through several of these already this morning, but in your case, once again, they allege that you're behind on your rent. And so they want you to pay the rent or move your trailer. So let me tell you what the rights you have as such a defendant are. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, including a mobile home failure to pay rent case, you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services or other agency may be able to assist you with payment of some or all of the rent, but frankly, almost all that money is gone. Maybe there'll be an infusion after the fiscal year. At any rate, the Supreme Court tells us we should tell you, you do not need a judgment to receive assistance from Department of Social Services or other agency. The summons and complaint are sufficient, and you've already received that. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Service, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to mediation, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above but have the following additional rights. The judgment may not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set before a hearing before the judge, namely me. But if the judge did not find in your favor, the original judgment would stand. According to Mr. Reed and your manager, Rebecca, the current rent through September was $3,515.66, but you just paid $500. So that reduces it to $3,015.66 plus $181.80 in cost. That includes the filing fee, the process server's fee. No, that process server fee is going to be different, TJ.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit more.
Yeah,
I don't have them.
5180. I don't know if he only sent one bill. No, 50, there's another 5180.
Yeah, there's two 5180s.
18180,
10360.
23360. Plus 3015 equals 3,249.60. All right, we had some of your neighbors here a little bit ago, and they indicated they'd fallen on some hard times with layoffs from work and medical problems. This is a circumstance where they want you to pay the rent or move, and you would have 10 days to move and 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. Now, we don't make any final decision here today. You're entitled to have an adjournment, and we would adjourn this at least 7 days, and that would be next Friday. We'd adjourn this to 9/22/23 at 10:20.
Write that down. 10:20.
We'll give you a new notice, but it'll be the same number you just logged in at
Okay.
10:20. Now, 10 days from that would take us into October. And another month's rent is going to be due when October 1st comes. What we advised the last people to do, the fact that you just made a $500 payment shows good faith that you're trying to get caught up in this.
Mhm.
You don't want to move, you don't want to move your trailer.
Right.
But we've got about 6 of these, which each case one by one is okay, but the park, that adds up to about $20,000 of
Yes.
unpaid rent, and they can't sustain that if they're losing $20,000 every 3 months.
Understandable.
So it's problematic for everybody. Do you have a plan to try to get caught up on this?
We do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, my taxes were being held for evaluation,
pending a paternity test, which we had cleared. The taxes were sent into the IRS evaluation office, and they said as of September 25th
No.
that the evaluation would be complete and that the check would be sent.
And that's in the amount of $7,770. So we will pay the entire amount off.
Oh, very good. That's a good plan.
So we've
All
been
right,
waiting
well-
on. It's kind of messed things
It's
up.
just messed things up financially, having to do the.
Well, I would give you 10 days from next Friday, which would take us to October 2nd. And
Okay,
that is a Monday, but it sounds like they don't have to evict you on October 7th. If you get the check and you pay all the rent, you don't even need to show up next
Yeah,
Friday.
that is the plan.
yeah, I'm hoping it comes.
But if
sooner
you
rather
don't
than
have
later.
it by then, you log in again next Friday morning and we'll discuss this.
Okay.
The total is 2,948.60.
3,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3,000, yeah.
the late fees and everything added up.
Well, the late fees and the court costs and 2 services, and yeah, it raises the price. But
Just
you
be in
have a plan.
contact, be in contact with Rebecca on your plan and obviously.
Okay, yeah, I
communication.
messaged her, I talked to her personally, and then I did email the proof to both her and up in Canada.
Yeah, we have the
So-
forms from the IRS evaluator and her number and name.
Very good.
We could also send you a copy.
I can get it through Rebecca.
Okay,
All right.
awesome.
Thank you.
All right,
Very
thank you.
good. All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Right.
I think those people are gonna be all right. I wish everybody had a $7,700 check. Wish I did.
I know.
You know,
Yeah, let's all sign up today, so we can get that tax refund. No, just kidding.
during the height of COVID, we were paying $7,000 rent for people. Theirs is only 3,000, but those days are behind us.
Mhm. Yep.
We've got a couple minutes till our next
Thanks.
case, which is Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park versus Joshua Jarvis, who may be a brother to this defendant. This is lot 130. So while we're waiting, let's figure out what the arrearage is in that case.
All right, man, just had that up here a second ago. Mhm.
And Rebecca, I wasn't just saying things to say things. This is a substantial shortfall for the park. They've got utilities to pay, their overhead. And when 6 or 8 or 10 people are months behind, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. So it's a problem for the landlord as much as the tenant.
Whispering Pine, or 130, Your Honor, the total balance I show is $1,381 plus the service fee of $51.80 and the additional other court costs. So
All right, that'd be one.
Did my Judge Simpson viewers, did you guys appreciate Judge Middleton's explanation of your motion to set aside? He was like, let's not be confused. Trust me. I don't necessarily know if these particular judges are speaking one to another, but judges have office meetings like any executor would. And they say things to each other like, listen, I have tenants coming in and they're complaining this, or I have litigants coming in and they're complaining that, or they're trying to pull a fast one on this or that. So by the time it gets around the office, the next thing you know, that game no longer plays, right? And so Judge Middleton's like, let's be clear. You have 3 days to take notation that maybe you need to change this and that you have somehow on a legal basis falsely signed this judgment for consent, or when this judgment is entered in, it's somehow improper. That would be under the circumstance if maybe the lady didn't, whatever her name was, Miss Ware, if she did, I think it was Ashley, if she didn't present, she might can come later and say, listen, Your Honor, I wasn't even properly served, because they did a substitution service versus coming back to her and doing a personal service. Whereas activity on the house and, I would presume that she was probably at work at the time that they served or whatever, or when she went to the store or something like that. But they could have waited for her and did a full personal service. So she might say, I wasn't properly served. I didn't know I didn't get this, they gave it to him. He kept it. I didn't know. I ended up having an appointment. I left for my appointment and had no idea what was going on. Please set aside this particular judgment. That might be something to get it, to get it set aside. Depends on what the judge believes and how they feel about it, right? If they feel that's a legal remedy or not. But nevertheless, he said, don't be confused. You have to come put the motion before the court. And if we decide that we're going to, bet against ourselves, because basically it's like saying, Judge, you did something wrong by, allowing this judgment to come forth. If we did something wrong, we're going to bet against ourselves, then you'll get that motion set aside granted and we'll go ahead and proceed from there. So anyway, hearing him say that just made me think of Judge Simpson's case that we had the other day. So you didn't see that video. It's the one where it says Judge Simpson is the tenant playing games. It's that particular video. It's It's eventful. Go check it out. It's quite exciting.
8180 again.
Yes.
3581 plus 81.80 is 3,662.
I think you misheard me. The
No,
balance
one-
is
yeah, one-
1,381. Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, and that was made up for the other one. I made too low. I made this one too high.
just balance it
So
out.
yeah, it evens out 1,662.80, which isn't too bad. So this tenant isn't here, and our earlier tenant, Mr. Johnson, has yet to appear. So we'll set that aside for a minute.
Oh,
He's
okay.
got a couple. This one has a couple minutes yet.
Yeah, 2. And then does that finish you? We
Yep.
used to start at 9, but we've been starting at 8:30. I had some stuff going on. I had to cut short, but we start at 8:30. And in the fall and winter, we've got the Fridays afternoons available. So we're trying to catch up on our backlog. And we're in pretty good shape right now.
Well, Judge Tomlinson, I believe you say he didn't believe it was dignified to start court before 9 o'clock, but
Well, Judge McManus was an early morning riser. So as you know, for 50 years, we've started court at 8:15 around here. Judge Shoemaker was of the same mind of Judge Tomlinson. It's not,
Me and Judge Thomason, we can hang out together. It is not reasonable to start court before 9 o'clock. I believe you.
dignified to
Right.
start that early, but we get a lot done between 8 and 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And then
He would
8:30.
leave at 4 o'clock.
well, he never left for lunch. He sat in his office and drank V8.
Oh, yeah, we never ate lunch. I stayed till the end, but he certainly was here early. I try to get here early. All right, it is 9 o'clock and we have a same thing. I think we have substituted service. He put, I serve personally, but then it's a S. He served
Uh-oh.
Catalina Vasquez, who was the
Uh-oh.
fiance. But here is Mr.
Uh-oh.
Jarvis,
Is he here?
not, yes,
Oh, good.
Okay.
not Tony Stark's Jarvis, but just Josh Jarvis.
Yes, Iron Man reference. Love it. So because you are coming to court, you can't say you weren't served because you actually showed up, right? I know. Process server, though, I will clean up those forms. Don't want things getting kicked out for lack of service or improper service.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Are you Josh Jarvis?
Yes, I am.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton. I'm here at the courthouse, and you've got a landlord-tenant case. It's entitled Whispering Pines Mobile Home Park versus Joshua Jarvis. Also with us on the live feed is Mr. Timothy Reed, who represents the park. Your manager, Rebecca, you know her, and Meg Bauer is here as a representative from Legal Aid of Western Michigan, if we need to have some advice. This is a claim that you owe rent in the amount of $1,381, which is not as bad as some of your neighbors, plus court costs of $181.80, and they claim that through September, you owe $1,662.80. As a defendant in a landlord-tenant proceeding, you have the following legal rights. I believe we already sent this to you in the mail with the packet, but the law requires that I read this also. As a defendant in such a case, you have the following legal rights. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If the action is for non-payment of rent, which is what this is, and if you are eligible for any assistance from the Department of Health and Human Services or any other agency, you do not need a judgment to receive that assistance. The summons and complaint are sufficient. And one of the goals is to try to prevent a judgment. If the plaintiff is agreeable, the Citizens Mediation Services, Inc. may be available as a possible source of case resolution. If both parties are agreeable to mediation, the court can help set that up. If you do reach an agreement with the plaintiff and a consent judgment is entered by the court, you would waive the rights listed above, but have the following additional rights. The judgment could not be enforced until 3 business days had passed. You could move to set aside the judgment within those 3 days if you misunderstood what you consented to or what you were waiving. Your motion to set aside the judgment would be set for a landlord-tenant hearing. However, if the judge did not rule in your favor, the original judgment would stand. So, Mr. Jarvis, is your girlfriend, Catalina, also living there?
Yes, sir.
He's now clearing up service.
What do you say regarding the fact that they believe you owe $1,381 in rent?
Yeah, I owe them. I intend to pay every dollar of it.
When
Basically, my bills went up and my hours went down, and I had a tree fall in my house I had to pay to fix, and I hit a deer I had to pay to fix, and it was just a series of unfortunate events. I actually paid them $1,300, I don't know, a week or 2 ago. That was the original amount that was on my court paperwork, but since then they've updated it to that $1,382 that they say I owe now. But yeah, I agree. I owe them every dollar, and I intend to pay them every cent.
We'll have time to get this done. That sounds like a country song. My bills went up and my hours went down. I hit a deer and a tree fell on my house. I think somebody could make something out of that.
I wish I could. It might be able to pay my rent.
That's just a title right there. My bills went up and my hours went down.
Love
All right,
it.
it sounds like you're on top of this. The law requires that I adjourn this for at least 7 days. So we're going to continue this to next Friday, 9/22/23 at 10:30.
I hope to pay them about half of what I owe them by next
Very
Friday.
good. You'll get an additional 10 days from that day to get caught up on the rest of it, which would take us to October 2nd. Now,
Okay.
October 1st, another month's rent is due.
Oh yeah, I
Right.
got this plan.
All right, but it sounds like you got a plan. Where do you work?
I work at American Petroleum Inc. It's the corporate office for all those Gallup's gas stations.
All right, sounds like a good job, and it sounds like you want to maintain your tenancy. The fact that you just paid $1,300 is a real good sign. And it sounds like you got a plan to pay the rest of it. We had another Jarvis
Yes.
this morning. Is that your brother?
Yes, sir.
Well, he's got a plan also to get caught up. So let's address this again next Friday at 10:30 in the morning. Are you missing work right now?
Yeah, I'm allowed to go in a little late, so it isn't hurting me at all.
All right, well, you can log in from work if you wish to, but we'll address this next Friday. If you pay all the rent before then, you don't even need to show up. But if you don't, come in here, we'll calculate how much is due. We'll give you the due date. Again, my suggestion is to stay in contact with Rebecca, your manager, and let her know what you intend to do, but it sounds like you has a plan to pay.
Yeah, so my girlfriend just started a job. She's a teacher for the Great Start Readiness Program here in Constantine. I actually just got back from dropping her off at the ISD. So she had to work a month before she get her first paycheck, but she gets
Well,
paid.
you could have actually stopped right here at the courthouse. You probably drove right past here on the way to
Oh, I
ISD.
did. I had that thought actually.
We'll take anybody live also. All right, you got a handle on this. Stay in contact with Rebecca. I will see you next Friday morning at 10:30 unless you paid all of it.
I appreciate you, Judge. You have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you, sir. All right, TJ, we'll go ahead and do that default. And Mr. Johnson, if you'd send me a mobile home judgment.
I will submit one yet this morning. And then before we leave, can you put Rebecca and I in a breakout room, Your Honor, and we can leave from there?
Yes, certainly.
Hey, have a good weekend.
All right. What a lovely day in court. Everyone is just chipper, I guess, because people are paying. Except for Mr. Johnson didn't show up, so they're going to get a default judgment on that, but they really get a lot of work done. So just a reminder, go ahead. Today's the last day. Fill out the survey for Judge Middleton's public something survey. What is it? It's kind of fuzzy now. Let's see if I go back in. Will it?
I guess I'm announcing, oops, to more than just Meg. If you're coming to the St. Joe County Fair this coming week, you can't get over the covered bridge. So you have to come up M86 or zigzag around. So keep that in mind. I think frankly, they did it on purpose. They closed it before the fair. People every year run into the bridge with horse trailers or other stuff.
Yes, they do.
All right, you guys go ahead and join and I'll see you probably next week, TJ.
Sounds good. I'll see you next week. Everybody have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you, Judge, keeping us informed of what's happening in Michigan. So it's the county fair is in town, and so that's changed some of the travel route. And you heard the reasoning why, at least for what the judge can surmise based upon his years being a resident. Anyway, so Judge Middleton is a country singer. There we go. He's got your country lyrics together. Go ahead, give him a call. You might have yourselves a brand new song, right? And I loved Jarvis's statement. He's like, hey, maybe then I'll be able to pay my rent. I can get us a country song going. But that was cute. It did kind of have a nice little jingle, felt like a country song. I agree. Well, that's going to conclude our Middleton for the day. Judge Middleton's court has been great, and we have totally enjoyed ourselves throughout the time. Make sure that you fill out the survey today so that the credit can go forth, and whatever the survey is, wherever it lands, whoever's looking at it will be able to know that we do so much appreciate St. Joseph's County being on Zoom and allowing us to witness court and learn what we can. Very eventful day, and all well wishes to those who are, getting caught up on those bills. Thankfully, the last litigant was able to cut his bill in half, making a payment, and he was a lot lower than some of the other ones, which are like $4,000 and almost $5,000. So all the best to them. So I'm Lyric Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate. Make sure you do great, wonderful light work, just a little light work. Like, share, and subscribe. I say this a million times because it is so much the truth. As much as it helps the algorithm of the video and it helps my channel, there is just the accuracy that just because you know something does not mean someone else knows it. So when you share this on your platforms, it allows other people to become knowledgeable as well. All right, see you later in the next video.